Hi, if you're planning a startup or you have a new business, I got 3 steps to run through. It's a success list of important considerations, and I'm about to run through them all now. By the way, I'm the author of How to Start a Business Without Any Money, with 42 Growth Hacks too. And I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs in hundreds of different types of businesses across the US, the UK, across Europe, Australasia, Asia, Africa, worldwide. And I've met many people with much ambition and some who've achieved, well, many who've achieved success too. And there's one thing they've all got, and that's their focus on their game. However, the difference between those who succeed and fail is really those who focus on customers and those who don't. When you focus on a customer first, you're focusing on what customers actually need rather than borrowing money, running the business, advertising, or all these other things. By actually just zoning in to understanding what the customer really needs and giving it to them, you're going to cut through all of that, and it's going to save you from making difficult or bad or poor investments. So for instance, in the lockdown, there's been lots of people who have sold up, moved out of the city, bought a farm or a different kind of business, and then having made that enormous move, having waited, to sell their house, gone through all this property, handled this, transaction, which takes months and months, to realize their dream of, owning a farm. Then they discover farming, it's not really something they want to do, but it's all too late. There are worse stories. So lots of families club together before the pandemic, and they would club together and they would build or take a lease on a restaurant. And then their problem is, well, how do they get the customers? And of course, many of those restaurants fail, or they have to go back to the family for more money. And really it never stops. And eventually someone says, well, hang on, I can't just keep on putting money into this losing money venture, right? Because their focus has not been on the customer, it's been on other things, whatever kind of business it is. There's another thing a lot of people say, and that is like, I've identified this business opportunity and now I've got to go get the money. Well, you can get the money if you go talk to clients or customers, right? If you get a customer. And then another classic that you hear is, I've identified this opportunity and I really want to do it. I'm really keen. I'm working with these people and they all have a similar problem. So I'm going to go to college and I'm going to get qualified or work nights and gain a certification so that I can actually serve these people. Well, I'll tell you what, the reality is, right now, today, without money, without the qualification, if you can help people, go and help them. Just be honest with them. And that's really the first key, is to be honest with people. Tell them that you're starting out. Tell them that you're looking for a customer to start work with, that your role is to advise, that you see lots of people with these similar types of problems and you have this, what you think is the solution. Be honest with them. Don't promise success or guarantee success, even worse. I mean, the idea really, what you really want to do is under-promise, over-deliver. Okay, so that's step number 1. Find a customer, someone you can genuinely help, someone you want to help, someone you're keen about helping. I'm keen about helping other people in business or want to be getting in business. Don't waste lots of time and money making huge moves, raising finance. These are just distractions from the real deal. The real deal is you need to find a customer. Focus on the customer needs. And there's another reason why you should do that. And the number 1 reason there is your initial ideas are rarely the business, the ideas that you end up with. So like every good plan, when you get talking with a customer and you understand what they really need, every customer will try and say to you, hey, can you do this? Can you tailor what you do to suit me? And the answer, of course, is, well, yes, I'm glad to. Now you've found out what the client or the customer really wants. And so now you can deliver what they really want. And guess what? When they've engaged with you and had that level of conversation with you, and you've worked out that yes, you can help them with their actual needs, they're going to love you. And they're going to love you even more if you say, well, I think I can. I haven't done that before. If that's the honest situation. But I've done this and I've done this. And what you're asking for is just a little bit more. I could see how it could be done. But if you understand that I've never done it before, you'll understand if we don't actually get there at the end of the day. And what we're talking here is honesty, yeah? So the under promise, over deliver. Because of course, if you have under promised and then you really do deliver, that's how you build your reputation. That's how you get referral business. That's how you write interesting case studies and how you're able to share your experiences with other people who don't know you about why you're good at what you're doing. You need these stories, and you get them from working with customers. And you get customers by being honest with people and just telling people the reality. So that's number one. You need a customer, and you need to be honest with them, okay? So it should be obvious, but lots of people don't necessarily get that. So in fact, it's kind of number one and number two. Number one being get a customer, number two being honest with them. And the third thing is to be very clear about your terms, right? The way you want to charge. So if you want to charge by the hour, by the day, or if you want to ask for a deposit to be paid, or you need to be paid all up front, then again, that's a conversation to be had early. Okay, so the worst thing you can do is start working for a client or customer on the basis that you hope to get paid. If you've never discussed money, chances are you won't get paid. And of course, that's going to be disappointing, and you'll say this business doesn't work. Well, often it won't work if you don't actually remember the money part. On the other hand, a lot of people are worried about talking about money, especially if they've never been in business before. They don't like to. It's a bit too confrontational. It's a difficult subject. They're not used to, doing it. Think of it as a price tag. Okay, do you really want to do work for people and then not get paid? It's like selling clothes. You don't stand in a shop and give it away. It's marked. It's got a price, and someone comes along, they look at it, they pick it up, they turn it around, they maybe put it on. Okay, and then they decide whether they want to wear it, and then they pay for it and leave the shop. So it's the same, right? You find a customer, you be straight with them, you tell them what you're interested in, how you think you can help, if you're starting out or not, whether they're your first customer, you can make a special offer. You can say you just want your costs covered because you're looking for a case study, for instance. But what you really don't want to do is to offer your services for free. And I know a lot of people starting out do that, and I don't blame them for it, but you need your first case study. But often your first case study could be a real problem, especially if the client or the customer has never paid for it, and you've never discussed, really what delivery is or what it looks like. So this is what it means to discuss terms. So your terms and conditions, okay, are that, you'll do this amount of work, you expect to do it in this amount of time, and this is how much time it will take. Okay, so they're like the three classic things. What you're going to do, and how much time it's going to take, and what it involves. So there's just a few things that you just need to get straight with your potential customer. Now, if at the end of that, the customer wants to go ahead with you and agree to your terms, fantastic, you've got a deal. Now, if you haven't, and the customer hasn't agreed and doesn't want to pay, that's cool too, right? Because look, you don't want to do work for free, right? A lot of people are under this misapprehension that if you do really good work, people are going to come out of the woodwork and come for you and find you because you're so good. Well, that it just doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Otherwise, all the really good chefs working in restaurants would be full. Obviously, with lockdown, that's not been the case recently, but before lockdown, that was never the case. Good customer acquisition processes, focusing on customers, pulling them in, then enabled a good chef to deliver good food, and then that might produce repeat business. Might. You still need to be a good business person and focus on the customer needs, have good customer rapport, as well as delivering let's say, good food, right? So the minimum most customers expect is that you're actually going to deliver what you said. So if it's a restaurant, good food. If it's, clothing, good clothing. Okay, that's the minimum. They expect a minimum as standard. So you've got to over-deliver, give them more, and do it in a way that's profitable. But that third thing, setting your terms, very important. You must do it. Established companies have terms and conditions. They issue sales contracts. They expect purchase orders from suppliers and contractors and customers, and they work in this very predefined manner. Okay, this is good business, and you have a choice. Even when you start out, you can go to that level if you want. I would if I were you, but it just depends. If it's a few days' work, then maybe you don't need all that technical stuff to get started. You don't. It's, have agreement. But what I would do is, in the absence of all that corporate stuff, is at the very, very least, is you send an email writing up what you think your agreement is with your potential customer, and say, hey, this is what we discussed. This is the time. This is the work that we'll do. This is the time it'll take, and this is what I expect in payment, which may be nothing. It may be your costs are covered, or it may be just a fixed amount, or it may be that you've agreed that a deposit will be paid. Whatever those terms are, send them an email or send them a letter, whichever way you want to get something to them, for them to receive, and then you can say, did you get it? And are you happy with that? Great, you are. Let's proceed. And then you take a quiet note in your head that, yeah, you agreed to it, that it was discussed. And that is the basis of your arrangement. Now, there's still some customers who will go through that process and still will let you down. And unfortunately, that's life. It does happen. But usually, when you write it out, you discuss your terms, they're agreed to. Most people are honourable and honour them. That's my experience. It's very rare someone tries to pull out. If they pull out, it's usually because they're unhappy about something, or the costs have spiraled, or their business is in some other trouble, and you just have to kind of weigh it out. The way I would look at it is, you never really want to be in a position where you risk your life on the payment of that invoice, okay, or for that service. So you always want to manage what you're doing, or keep an income going to cover your costs, or to always make sure you've got enough money to cover costs regardless. So those are the three things that are absolutely necessary when it comes to starting out a business. Focus on the customer. Explain where you are and how you can help, why you can help, and the ways that you can help. And third, discuss your terms of doing business, terms of reference, whatever you want to call it, and put them down in writing as soon as possible to get agreement with your potential customer. So if you've got a customer, someone who's got a genuine need, you've agreed that you can help, they've agreed that you can help, and you've talked about money, price, time, the work that you're going to do, etc., and you're all happy about that, then that's a really good place to be. They're the three most important things you need to start a business. Okay, and any money you need in terms of raising finance to run your business, guess where the best place to get that from? Customers, right? Banks will even finance that. They call it sales finance, right? So if you get customers, and that's the big trick that most people kind of miss. They get all caught up in the machinations. Anyway, for more great ideas, and not only ideas, but processes you should employ, and also problems that you'll face, and certainly how I've overcome many of them, plus 42 growth hacks, you'll find more of those in this book. You can get it on Amazon. If you have an Amazon KDP account, you can read the book for free. Go ahead, go to Amazon, search for how to start a business without any money. You'll find this book and you can read it, or you'll find pretty soon you'll want a copy by your side. So go get yourself a copy on Amazon, buy it or read it for free. Thanks very much for listening, and I hope your business goes really well. Oh, and there's more that you can find out on my website, davidwhiteconsulting.com. And I got some more resources building up there over time. Plus I got more books in the series to release. And you'll be the first to know if you go to my website, davidwhiteconsulting.com, where you can find out more about me and about my books and other resources that will come your way. Thanks a lot.